Welcome to this episode of Mind Your Business. State Counsel John Sangwa has had an illustrious career in the legal sector, but recently he has actually joined politics. And we are here to talk about what motivated him to join politics. How has he settled? And how is he going to pull through with only a few months to go before the elections? State Counsel Sangwa, welcome to Mind Your Business.
Thank you, Mr. Mwenda. Thank you very much for the invitation.
You're welcome. I am first of all, humbled to have you on this program. But I should start by saying, who makes such a decision to leave the comfort of a very powerful law firm, making very good money? I've been to Vitumbiko. I have been to your office. And I've been to other places as well. And I can tell you, that place looks very good. You can smell money when you are at Vitumbiko. And then you decide to say, all this comfort and everything, no, I'm done. I want to jump in. Why?
You asked a very important question, which is, who does such a thing? The answer is very simple. A patriot. A patriot. Only a patriot would make such a decision. A person who loves his country enough to be able to sacrifice for it.
Right.
Yes. People must understand that when you have a good life, it's a privilege. And that good life is not just meant for yourself. You also have to go beyond that and say, how can I improve the well-being of other people? Yes, you're right in saying that I've had a very successful career, very exciting career. And a lot of people have asked me to say, if I was to relive my life, what would I change about my career? And I've always said, no. There is nothing that I can change. I'm happy with the way, the direction that my life has taken.
Right.
But like you and many other people, if you had asked me 5 years ago to say, are you going to jump into politics? I'd have said, hell no,
right.
I'm not going there.
Right. In fact, off the record, we have had conversations and you have quite clearly said in many years back saying, I'm not interested in politics.
That's right.
What changed?
A lot of things, Mr. Mwenda. First of all, my entire life has been a life of service to this country. In the sense that when we made a transition from one-party rule to a multi-party rule in 1990, a lot of my friends went full-time into private practice, but I decided to teach. So I was splitting my time between teaching and practicing. And I was able to do that because I had a very good partner in Simeza, in the sense that we arranged things in such a way that it gave me time to also spend time it gave me the opportunity to spend some time at the university. A job which I did for 20 years. Now, if you're interested in getting rich, teaching is not one of the ways.
Right. I understand. Even in university?
Even in university. I was my associate at that time. I think when I started, I think my salary was something like 160 kwacha. And my associates in the firm were getting about 2 or 3 times that. But it wasn't about the money. Being a teacher is a labor of love. It's something that you do because you love doing it.
Right.
And the reason for teaching was very simple, in the sense that, Mr. Mwenda, we finished school at a time of great excitement. We had defeated one-party rule. We are now in a democracy. And we saw the damage that was done during the period of one-party state. Zambia, a country which was the 3rd richest in terms of GDP per capita in 1964. In terms of GDP, can you imagine being the 3rd richest in Africa? The GDP of Zambia per capita was even higher than China, higher than all these other countries that you can talk about. But by 1990, Zambia had become one of the poorest and least developed country, one of the poorest, the worst indebted, and least developed country in the world. That was a disaster. So we are sitting on a debt of well in excess of $7 billion.
Right.
I'm sure you have heard of stories where there were people were queuing up for milli-meal,
Yes.
the basic essential things that we currently take for granted. They're not readily available. So the whole reason for making a transition was a conviction that the return to a multi-party system of government and liberalization of the economy was going to turn around the country and restore it to its glory, because whatever benefits that we had at independence, we squandered that because we became far worse than we started off. Right. So we're all excited. How can we contribute to the consolidation of democracy and everything else? That's what compelled me to teach.
But before I allow you to proceed on the teaching part,
yes,
I would like you to move a bit faster to your decision to get into politics. See, you have had the advantage of seeing how from Kaunda you have seen how president after president have performed.
Yes,
this is the first time that you have made the decision to get in. Now, yes, you saved the nation through, sharing knowledge at the university and so on and so forth. But you were seeing things happening with the other presidents. Are you saying this is the worst that Zambia has been to, that you said now is the right time?
Yes, Mr. Mwenda, we have squandered opportunities from 1991. Right. If we move fast forward to 2021, I'm sure you remember that period when we worked together very strongly about Bill 10. Yes. I was so sure that after Bill 10 collapsed, we went for election and the current government won. I felt like, you know what? I think I've lived my life.
Right.
I'm now done.
Right.
We have fought so hard. We've put the country in good hands.
The right candidate is in State House.
The right candidate is in State House. And I did a paper just a few days after the election.
Right.
Just to show you how optimistic I was about the future.
Right.
Because I was convinced that we can never have a government as worse, as bad as the
previous one.
As the previous one. And I was very, very optimistic. And I even said, you know what? This government and this president is likely to be a president for life. Democratically.
Okay.
One can be president for life democratically.
What do you mean?
What I mean by that is you can be a president in a country, for example, if you remove the term limit. Okay?
Right.
Democratically. So which means people can vote you, can go through free and fair elections, and people can continue
to vote for
you democratically.
Right.
And you can also have the same political party basically being a dominant political party for a long time to come, democratically.
Right.
Okay? We had an example of Botswana, for example. You had BDP, which was in power for nearly 60 years. This is the first time that they kicked them out. But of course, democracy was, the party was internally democratic because they were changing presidents whilst the party was the same. I saw that as a possibility because I didn't think there'd be one would perform worse than Lungu or even PF. That is how optimistic I was. I don't know. I also don't want to talk about, I don't like talking about other people, but I have to state that I had a meeting with the president, and I said, Mr. President, we all want you to succeed. And I'm here to offer whatever kind of support I can offer you. And I also told him to say, Mr. President, failure for you is a choice. Okay? Let me explain what I meant by that. And I said, Mr. President, you are being president at a very important historical time. Right. We have had 27 years of Kaunda and 30 years of PF and MMD. So this system of Kaunda was one extreme, state-controlled. Right. The other one was another extreme, free market. Right. Both systems failed. So Kaunda's left us to $7 billion in debt. This other one, after 10 years, left us with a debt of nearly $13-14 billion. Right. So you have a choice to bring the country to the center, because the country has never been in the center. So get what worked under 30 years of PF and MMD, and what worked under the 27 years of Kaunda, put it together. Right. I don't think that you're going to fail. Okay? And I also said to him, and said, listen, everybody knows the difference between campaigning and governing. When campaigning, you make all kind of wild statements. Right. But when you go in, it's totally different. Right. And my advice to him was, Mr. President, go back to the people. Tell them the truth. Now that you're in government for 6 months, go back. Moderate your promises.
Tell them you won't fix it.
Tell them. In fact, if you have to lie, that is the time to lie. Where you say, guys, I promise so much. I've now gone into government. I've now realized things are so bad. That is the moment, if you want, you can even walk away from your promises. Right. I promise that this will change. I'm sorry, this can't happen. This can't happen. This can't happen. And I said, listen, Zambians will accept the truth if it is painful. But what they don't accept is lies. I mentioned that. And I gave him an example of Chiluba. I said, Chiluba was here. His policies killed people. But Chiluba was honest from the very beginning. Right. He said, guys, things are bad. We have to tighten our belts. Anyway, that was the conversation. But as you know, that none of those things happened. I then think a great deal of the things which are very disappointing. For me, the first signal that we are in trouble was the period it took to create cabinet. It was too long. Okay. If you had been in opposition for 15 years...
Must have a shadow cabinet.
Obviously. You shouldn't even struggle, and shouldn't have taken it took 3 months or whatever, 2 months to create a cabinet. That was the first sign of trouble, to say, hey, we're in trouble here. The second problem I saw was what happened to the Kwacha and Kabushi by-elections.
Yes.
And I realized that we're in trouble here. And a few other things have happened. I've never liked politics because I've seen the extent to which it can be damaging.
Of course, and we always say it's a dirty game.
Yes. But after that, I started reflecting. This was now after 2021. Right. I started reflecting to say, we're really in trouble here as a country. And I think every Zambian must be honest enough and say, you have traveled, Mr. Mwenda, you know. You have to ask yourself, given everything that Zambia has, should we really be where we are? The answer is no, we shouldn't. Now, when you love your country, you have to ask yourself, you have to move away. I've theorized, I've thought, I've litigated. Then you ask yourself, what have I achieved? What is the contribution? How much of a dent has that initiative done in terms of improving the governance of the country?
Right.
The answer is zero. Right. In fact, the country is far worse than it was before. Right. We've been on a downward trajectory on everything. And that is when I decided to say, well, let me go where the real problem is.
But then you are state council.
Yes.
And I believe by that it means you can actually provide counsel to the state and you can talk to the president. You spoke to him once.
Yes.
And he didn't do what you advised him. Mm-hmm. Was that enough for you to give up and say he can't be advised?
Mr. Mwenda, I gave up. I don't want to go into details, but the point is that there were certain things that we agreed upon, and then when there was an attempt to have a subsequent meeting, the meetings didn't happen.
Right.
Okay, but don't get me wrong, it's not out of bitterness or anything like that that I've decided to take this thing. No, it is purely out of a point whereby you look at it as a country.
Right.
As a country, we're in a mess. Whichever way you look at it, you're in a mess.
But where is he getting it wrong? The current president is a fairly educated man. He's also a very successful businessman. And you can't say leadership is only in politics. If you have succeeded as a leader in the private sector, surely you must be able to put the country together and provide exemplary leadership. And also, you are saying he has failed. But I would argue that the fundamentals are looking quite good. Right now we seem to be going in the right direction. Are you? You are laughing, State Council. Am I that wrong? Look, there are some policies which he has put in place which citizens are happy with, and I would insist and say that he has not completely messed up. He may have made some mistakes here and there, but how are you rating him, his performance, and where exactly has he really failed?
Mr. Mwenda, you can't fix a problem which you don't understand, right? The first order of business should have been to understand, first of all, why is Zambia where it is? Why? It's like when you go to the hospital, a doctor can't just look at you and say, Mr. Mwenda, I think you have malaria.
Right.
What will the doctor do? They say, okay, unwell, yes. Check your blood pressure, check your vitals. Check your blood pressure, check this, check the temperature. And then they'll say, you know what? Give us blood samples, whatever, samples that are required. Why? They want to determine exactly what is wrong with you. No decent doctor will give you medicine without those results.
Right.
Once they say, you have malaria, I said, yes. They might even find that your malaria is not your normal malaria. It is the extreme one. They might even say, Mr. Mwenda, you're not going home. We have to admit you. In fact, the medicine we have to give is not even one which you have to swallow. We have to put it intravenously. The same with the country. You have to look at it, first of all. Nobody pause for a moment. Why to ask a fundamental question? Why did the PF fail? How did the PF get a country which was debt-free, literally, in 2011 and saddled that country with a debt of well over $12 billion in 10 years?
Right. Was it corruption or was it bad leadership?
It's a combination of factors. Right. So when you have the answer to that, your first order of business as a successor is to do what? To seal off for the loopholes where they went wrong. But none of that has happened.
Right.
The system is still as porous. The institutions are still. You have to go back and understand, why did Lungu get it wrong? So that you can now get it right.
Right.
We're not saying you can't make mistakes. You will make your own mistakes, but you will not repeat your predecessors' mistakes. Now, I'll give you one example. One of the reasons I talk about these things, people I think are fed up of even hearing me talk about one thing, the Constitution.
Of course.
Samwenda, that's key. if you don't sort out you don't have respect for your constitution. You don't have respect for rule of law. You can talk about all the fundamentals you want.
Right.
Nothing will happen.
But the PF actually gave us the best constitution, and you were on record to say that was the best document we ever had, and you were even thinking he wasn't going to sign it.
Yes.
President.
Yes.
He signed.
Yes.
So, are you saying this government is not respecting the constitution?
Mr. Mwenda, it is one thing to have a constitution. It's another thing to respect it. One of the things you need, and I tell people this, and this is where I've differed with other political parties, right? They all rush to say we should amend the constitution. The problem is not the constitution. The problem is us failing to respect the constitution. Now, you have to understand one thing, that a constitution is not self-executing.
Right. It needs to be enforced.
Exactly. You can have it there. It is dead. Just like the Bible, the word of God. It is not self-executing, Mr. Mwenda.
Right.
We can both read the Bible. Your life will change, mine may not change. Why? It will change because you're applying the word of God in your life.
Right.
But for me, I'll read scripture, throw it away, and do other things.
Right.
My life won't change.
Right.
The fact that you have a constitution is not a solution to the problem. You now have to go strictly and respect and comply with the constitution.
But what is that act that this president and his party have done which constitutes to violating the constitution of Zambia? Which
Mwenda, there are many.
Give me one or two.
We've just finished the saga to do with Bill 7.
Right.
That should never have happened. Never.
But Bill 7 and its enactment was happening after you had already jumped in.
That is correct, but it's a series. That is just a series of factors. It is also about, for example, let's take one very practical issue, fighting corruption, right? If we were serious, we should have amended the entire legal regime to do with corruption.
Right.
Because a cancer is what is killing the country. Somebody asked me, what would you do differently? I said, first of all, amend the law.
Again,
Okay.
you are against amending.
I'm against amending the constitution.
Okay.
I'm not against amending legislation.
Right.
There's a difference.
Okay.
Legislation, you have to amend legislation to implement your policies.
Right.
Okay? When you amend the constitution, you are basically amending the power arrangement in the country. The objective is different.
Right.
The constitution says one thing. It's a power map.
Right.
Okay, the constitution tells you the power map of the country, who does what, the ultimate authority, how it is managed. But legislation is policy.
Okay.
I would have amended the law to deal with to do with the corruption. For example, we should actually be able to impose a life sentence for people involved in corruption.
Okay.
Yes.
But what kind of corruption should constitute a life sentence?
You know, anything to do with anybody stealing from government, you steal drugs, you steal money,
Life.
you get life imprisonment. The reason is that, you see, Mr. Mwenda, I can steal from you. You're the only one who will be affected.
Right.
I steal from government. We're talking about thousands of people that will be affected. Right. When you steal from government, you are basically a saboteur. You are killing the country. I steal from you. It's just you. The damage will be localized. But I steal from the government. I mean, like how do you have a country whereby people steal HIV medicines? How? It's not normal. It's not normal.
Right.
So you need to have a deterrent.
Right.
Now, I'll tell you from my own experience, people that engage in corruption, for example, you know what scares them the most? Losing what they have stolen. They're not scared of going to jail. Okay? So you have to understand, research has actually proven that when somebody engages in corruption, he has already made the arithmetic. I've stolen $10 million. What's the penalty? 4 years. It is commuted. I'll be in jail for 2.5 years.
Right.
My 10 million will still be.
It's not money I can make in 4 years.
You get the point? So there has to be a deterrent, meaning you go in for life. Okay? In addition to that, you also forfeit whatever you have stolen.
Right.
So forfeiture is not enough. We also have to make sure that it doesn't pay to engage in corruption.
But saying is one thing. And it might be easier saying, actually. But when you get into power, then you discover that there are other issues which are a little bit complicated. And one of the challenges that I think people who get into power face is the fact that when you convict your own, right, current corruption, you are fighting current corruption. To some extent, you are endorsing that you are actually a very corrupt government. Now imagine you find somebody who's stolen drugs, they are convicted, life, and then you find another person within your government, life. Then it just begins to suggest that you are stealing more than the previous governments where such cases were not as rampant. And in the end, you seem like you're shooting your own foot. That's the reason why they fight previous corruption rather than current corruption.
No, it's all wrong because, Mr. Mwenda, we're all equal before the law. Okay? In fact, my view is that past corruption is actually current corruption is worse than past corruption. You get a point?
Right.
So the previous corruption has already happened. The damage is known. Right?
Right.
So for past corruption, you'll be looking at recovery, to recover whatever, because the damage is already done. But what you now need to do is to prevent current corruption.
Right.
Because the current corruption is undermining whatever effort you're trying to do to fix the country. That's the problem. Between past corruption and current corruption, the most harmful is the current corruption, not the past corruption. But in any case, the past corruption, we've already found a solution to it, in the sense that we kicked out the previous government. They're gone. Why? Because of corruption. So you have to seal off the loopholes. So what you fight is the current corruption, not that in terms of priorities, for example, I would give priority to current corruption. Remember, there is no statute of limitation on crime. I can prosecute past corruption anytime, provided I have evidence. Right. But the most damaging is the current corruption. Right. Yeah. So a number of things have gone wrong. You're asking me what is fundamental.
But on corruption itself, before you move to the next thing, are you saying that right now corruption is worse than it was in PF and previous governments?
Mr. Mwenda, as long as you don't attend to the loopholes, okay, that exists. Because first of all, the law has not been amended on corruption. Right. Still intact. Okay. We've been hearing all manner of things and so forth. Yes, there is still corruption, I'll tell you that. Right.
But is it worse? Your own assessment, you are very close to the law, and you've been seeing all the key
This is my opinion.
Right?
This is simply my opinion. My opinion is that corruption now, you see, if you look at it, yes, I would say it's actually worse. Oh. You know what happens with this government? If you look at governments from 1964, right, they're actually worse on the line. Okay. And there, if you ask me corruption now, it is far worse than it was before. That is just my opinion. Okay. Now, what we need to do is that if you're really serious about combating corruption, you have to find out what were the weaknesses. Why were these guys able to do the things they did? And what you do, you seal off the loopholes. For example, I've argued one point. Look at the relationship between the DG and the board of ACC. Right. You can't have both institutions appointed by the same authority. Logic could have dictated that you amend the law for the president to appoint the board and for the board to appoint the DG. But we know that even in places where that is actually law, the president still dictates the board to appoint who they want. Then it shouldn't happen. That's where the problem is. You're just endorsing the point I'm making. It shouldn't, because the president's job is simply to appoint competent people. And then also these institutions are supposed to be independent, by the way. The president cannot even, when it comes to corruption, the president's involvement begins and ends with putting together the board. That's it. There shouldn't even be any kind of communication between the board and the president, let alone between the DG and the president. It should never, never, never happen, Mr. Mwenda.
But you see, State Council, as president, you need to have the country together.
Yes.
And you have to literally know what is going on everywhere. And you have to have some certain level of control. You should know that, I can sit very comfortably and go to sleep very comfortably, knowing I won't wake up in the morning hearing my Minister of Finance, Minister of Defense, Minister of Which has been summoned by the Anti-Corruption Commission for questioning. Why? Because the board appointed some rogue director who is trying to work, but in the process trying to undermine my government and sabotage my government. No. You have to be in control.
No. That's the lawlessness I'm talking about, Mr. Mwenda. The solution is for your ministers not to get into trouble in the first place. That's the solution. Okay? The solution. What you are doing is basically protecting your ministers. Okay? As a president, first of all, you have to be mindful that when you are choosing people, you're choosing people of character. Who would not engage in such activities in the first place. But if they do, what do? You surrender them to law enforcement agencies. Just like, for example, you heard the incident in the UK where Prince Andrew is now is under police investigation. Right? Yes, he may be a brother to the king, but he's not above the law. Mr. Mwenda, that is what is killing this country. The law says one thing, and what happens is different. Okay? Now, there are several other things that have happened.
Right. What else other than corruption?
Well, there is a problem with corruption. And then there is also, it comes to the other thing, which is, when you look at the failures of President Lungu, what has happened is, I know people don't like to talk about the dead, but we have to talk about these things in practical terms.
Right.
One of the hallmark of his presidency was the weakening of institutions of government. What does that mean? When you are president, it doesn't mean that you're above the law. You are not. Or you're above the Constitution. No. You're still subject to the Constitution. And most importantly, for you to govern properly, you need strong institutions of government. You need a strong judiciary. That is key, Mr. Mwenda. You can have a corrupt president and weak and incompetent president, the country will survive.
Right.
As long as you have a strong judiciary. Even if you have a corrupt National Assembly, but the country can survive if you have a strong judiciary. But when you have a combination of a poor judiciary, poor executive, poor National Assembly, that's a recipe for disaster. That's where we are as a country right now.
Again, I will ask, have the institutions been so weakened to an extent that it's actually worse?
Mr. Mwenda, don't get me started on that. Let me give you a few examples.
Right.
If you had a proper National Assembly,
right.
Let me just give you one example. If you had a proper National Assembly, you know what would have happened? The president would not be commuting from his house to State House.
Okay. What has the National Assembly got to do with that?
Very simple. Mr. Mwenda, the National Assembly has the power of the purse.
Okay.
The National Assembly controls the funding of this country. That is how our system of government is designed. Yes, the executive branch of government collects the money, but there is one institution that approves the disbursement of that funding. That is the National Assembly. That is why you always have your budget approved by the National Assembly. You don't spend government money without approval from the National Assembly.
Okay. Which money are we talking about?
These are public funds.
Which the
revenue.
Okay.
Let me explain. For example, if you have the situation we are dealing with, right? There is already an institution, which is State House, which is allocated to the president.
Right.
That is a compound. It's a self-contained compound, right?
Right.
Clearly, you and I know, irrespective of what others may say, that the moment you introduce a requirement for the president to be traveling from his private residence to State House, that's a cost.
Right, but
there's a cost.
We don't have the evidence or a record that it's actually passed on to the government.
Yes, Mr. Mwenda. All those policemen who line up the street, that's a cost. The vehicles that transport him, that's a cost. But even if we don't know, a proper National Assembly would have tabled that issue for discussion.
Right.
Because the role of our system is that the National Assembly has oversight over the executive.
Right.
They would have called, it should have been an issue raised in the National Assembly to say, what is it costing the Republic to ferry the president every day?
Right.
There should have been a cost to that.
But then what you are saying in essence is that the opposition is weak, not the national.
No.
Because you don't expect a minister or ruling party MP to go and raise that point in the House.
No, that power is vested in the National Assembly.
Right.
Right? Forget about whether that particular motion will pass or not. It should have been an issue in the National Assembly. And the relevant minister should have been asked, can you table the cost? They can come up and say, actually, it's not even costing the Republic anything.
Okay.
It's a possibility. Then they could say, well, but obviously you and I know that there's a cost anyway, even as a matter of common sense. There's a cost. Can we justify this cost? Hypothetically, for example, the National Assembly could have said, we're not approving this budget line. We're not, because this is unnecessary. You can't have State House in one area, which is empty, and then we're also spending money for the president to commute.
Right.
The very fact that the National Assembly, that issue has never been tabled, that tells you how weak and compromised that institution is.
I like the way you're using compromised.
Yes, weak and incompetent that institution is.
The opposition has also been compromised, do you feel?
Mr. Mwenda, when I talk about the National Assembly, when I talk about the National Assembly, yes, it's a body. That you have to understand one thing. The power of the National Assembly is vested collectively.
Right.
Not in an individual, not in the opposition or the ruling party. It's collective authority.
In the body. But the body doesn't talk, State Council.
This is what I'm saying.
To go to the floor of the House.
Yes, the fact that no one has raised that issue, it tells you how dysfunctional and weak and possibly useless that institution is in terms of our governance. It's basically a rubber stamp.
So what should the president do to strengthen it?
Very simple, Mr. Mwenda. First, you have to, let me give another saga anyway, if you don't mind.
Right.
Even look at the way Bill 7 was passed. I know it came up subsequently. What happened in the National Assembly should never have happened.
Right.
Right? Because, first, we have a parliamentary presidential system. In a parliamentary system, the power, when you are a member of parliament sponsored by a political party,
right,
you toe your party line. Therefore, over Bill 7, what should have happened is that the party like the PF should have had a position. Are we in favor for the bill? In favor of the bill or not? They should have taken, each one of those MPs should have made its position known. It should not have come as a surprise. Now remember, when you're in the National Assembly, you're exercising a position of trust.
Right.
You represent your constituency, people that elected you from your constituency.
Right.
And if you are going to vote in a certain way, Mr. Mwenda, it should be publicly known. And you must have justification to say, I am breaking rank with my party, right, publicly known. I'm going to vote in favor. Fine. Everybody knows. But what happened was a complete fiasco. It tells you how dysfunctional that institution is. And where still what they talk about is where you see the speaker even dancing.
She's a human being. She has a right to express emotion.
No. Mr. Mwenda, when you occupy certain offices, you are denied certain privileges, certain things you cannot do. Go and dance in the privacy of your office. But you can dance, no problem.
Right.
But for the sake of that institution, the dignity and standing of that institution ought to have been respected. But anyway, there are many other things. You ask me, you reach a stage and say, how does the future look? Someone that can tell you all those fundamentals you're talking about, you are theorizing. The real picture is that the future of this country is very bleak.
Right.
For two reasons. One, we have no respect for our constitutional order. Two, there's no rule of law. No country, maybe you have to educate me if you know of a country, no country will ever thrive in a state of lawlessness. And you will never attract decent investors. Do you know the investors we're attracting in this country? People that are coming to extract our minerals,
Right.
raw materials, and traders. That's what you have. Okay? Now, any decent foreign investor, you know the first thing they'll ask you is there a rule of law?
Right.
Businesses do not like uncertainty.
Right.
Any business wants to be able, because it involves planning. You plan ahead. You can only plan ahead in a predictable environment. And that environment requires that there is rule of law.
Right.
That I'll have a problem with you, Mr. Mwenda. I'll go to court and I'll have my case decided within a year or so. But you have your judiciary, which has collapsed completely. Collapsed.
The judiciary has
The
collapsed.
judiciary has collapsed. I've been practicing law for the last 36 years. I have never seen the judiciary in this chaotic state. Never in my life.
Chaos.
Yes.
What kind of chaos?
Two things I'll tell you, Mr. Mwenda. First of all, the caseload of judges
Right.
is completely unbearable and unmanageable. You have judges receiving well in excess of 300-400 cases a year. It's not humanly possible.
Right. But is that lawlessness?
I'm talking about collapse of the institution.
Of the institution.
Yes.
All right.
How the institution has collapsed. Now, even if you are to put me there, you clone even your best lawyers there, you give them 300 cases. You know what that means? It means a case every year. It's not possible. It's not humanly possible.
Right. But this government just employed, I think, 40 judges at some point at a core.
Mr. Mwenda, I'm telling you things that the way they are.
Things are improving.
But I'm telling you the way things are right now.
Right.
That which you are talking about, 40 judges, is a drop in the ocean. No, it's nothing. It's nothing. It will not do anything to improve the caseload.
Okay.
Okay? Two, judges are poorly paid, Mr. Mwenda. The remuneration of judges is very poor. You have people that are overworked and underpaid. And yet, the law clearly states that the judiciary shall be adequately funded.
Right. Where is the problem with that? Where does the problem lie and how can we fix it?
Yes. and let me first of all amplify the problem further.
Right.
In all this mess, there are people, in my opinion, who should never have been judges.
State council, they say that people will believe you. You are state council.
Yes, I know.
So some people are actually standing before unfit judges.
They should never have been judges in the first place. That's how chaotic the system is. Why? First, I've challenged some judges got upset with me when I said there is no single judge in this country who can say I was appointed on merit. None.
Right. Even those who are actually fit to be, they were not appointed on merit.
They can't argue that I was appointed on merit. Why? Because the entire system of appointment, of selection and appointment is all murky. It's not transparent.
Okay.
That system undermines the credibility of the judges.
The process.
The process is fundamentally flawed. Right. Recently, for example, when they announced that they are recruiting people, I went to court.
Right.
And I said, listen, don't employ these people, first of all. Right. We need to know how many people applied. How many people have been shortlisted? These are our judges. We need to know. That information was not publicly available.
Right.
And we said those who have not been shortlisted, decency and common sense dictates that, Mr. Mwenda, when you apply to be a judge, you have not been shortlisted, you have to be told why. None of others were never told why. Right. We said, even those you have shortlisted, can you have an open, transparent interview process? Because they're going to serve the people, and therefore they need to have the confidence of the people. That system was never implemented. Even when I applied, it said, listen, don't go ahead. They rushed through the process. So the process, as part of the fixing the problem, these are the things that you need to clean up, make the system transparent. And not only that, when you go for interviews, there must be some kind of an evaluation process. Right. Whereby somebody would say, well, the pass mark was 10. We graded everybody. You scored 7, you scored 2. That's why you are not picked. Even that information should be made publicly available.
Okay.
There is nothing. So, and the transparency is necessary for strengthening the institution. But that does not exist. I went to court a couple of years ago. I think the time we were doing Bill 10, I think.
Right.
I went to court and I said, the president should not be responsible for determining the conditions of service of judges.
Right.
We succeeded in that case. The court ruled that the new system must be put in place. New legislation should be put in place to guarantee the financial independence of the judiciary. To this day, that law has never been passed, Mr. Mwenda. The president still determines the salaries of judges.
But the law is passed.
The law has never been passed, Mr.
The law has not been.
Has never been passed.
So was that was like a recommendation from the court?
It wasn't it was a judgment of the court, Mr. Mwenda, not a recommendation. A judgment which this government has completely ignored.
Interesting.
That is the act of lawlessness that I'm talking about.
But there is always a starting point. And I think one of the things that this government has done under Chief Justice Mumba Malila is to say, as a starter, can we advertise the positions of a judge?
Yes.
Previously, that was not the case.
Yes.
And what you said is that is not enough, but when you call them, they should be subjected to public scrutiny, which I agree. But there has to be a starting point.
Yeah, but
they are reducing the workload of the judges by recruiting more judges, and they are saying we need more transparency in the recruitment process by advertising the jobs.
Yes,
that is work in progress.
The institution is mortally wounded right now. It's on its knees. It requires radical transformation, not piecemeal attention to some of the challenges it faces. Right. No.
Right.
Okay. Those are serious challenges, and as long as your judiciary is weak, you have a problem. I'll give you another example. Optics are very important, Mr. Mwenda. In all my years of practice, I've never seen the president and the chief justice at Nchwala ceremony.
What is wrong with that, State Counsel?
Everything is wrong, Mr. Mwenda. It is wrong.
Why the two cannot be in one place?
It has never been in all my years of practice. Never. I've also seen another picture. Chief Justice, Speaker, and the President. Never. Those things should never, never, never happen.
What is the problem with
Very simple. These are people that, first of all, they are co-equal, right? They are co-equal. You have your business, I have my business.
Right.
Okay? There should never be any public interaction because the Chief Justice's job is to take care of the judiciary.
Right.
The president, he can go to Nchuala. That's part of his executive functions. The speaker should stay in the National Assembly because that's our legislative function.
Right.
Do you know the only time that the three can come together? During the official opening of the National Assembly of Parliament.
Right.
That's where you have all the three branches of government coming together. During that time, the president is performing his function not as head of the executive, but as the head of state.
Okay.
And it is simply a ceremonial function. After that, they go
Each one
separate
on their
ways.
own ways. But so they should pretend like they don't know each other?
Mister, it's not about pretending.
It is pretending.
It is not pretending, Mr. Mwenda.
Who appoints the Chief Justice?
It is about maintaining each other's territory.
Right, but the question
Yes.
is, who appoints the Chief Justice?
It is the president.
So they know each other. The president has learned the competency of this man, and he says, you are going to be my Chief Justice.
No. That's even a wrong term. You are not my Chief Justice.
For the country.
You are a Chief Justice for the Republic, not the president's Chief
Right.
Justice.
Point remains, you know each other. And to some extent, you have had interactions in the past that have brought you together. Now you want this man to serve in the judiciary as head of the judiciary. Surely you can't be seen publicly together?
No, Mr. Mwenda, optics
It's
are very
pretense.
important. No, it's not pretense. It is respecting the separation of powers. The separation of powers. You can look at these things as very simple things, but they are very important things to observe. In all my years, I never saw any of the past chief justices and speakers in that situation. I stand to be corrected. But that is very, very important to maintain that independence. Okay.
It sounds like we are headed for a very interesting time when there is a change of leadership. And at this time, I want now to focus on having this conversation with you as leader of the Movement for National Renewal.
Yes.
And as leader of Movement for National Renewal, I would like to know really, if you are speaking so strictly about, these people must not talk, you sound like a man who will not really be in charge of your country. Because then it means that things will be going on wrong in the judiciary. You can't talk to the Chief Justice. You can't speak to the Speaker. How are you going to govern?
It's very simple, Mr. Mwenda. Respecting the law is very important. If the Chief Justice does not perform, there's a solution. It's removal from office. It's not for the president to pick up a call to say, Bwana Chief Justice, you are not doing a good job. No, because the president is not the boss to the Chief Justice. He's not. There is this notion that the president is the boss. No, he's the boss of the executive branch of government.
The appointing officer.
No, Mr. Mwenda is not the appointing officer. He's appointing officers for those people under him. That is why when it comes to appointing judges, they say the president, in fact, doesn't appoint, he nominates. There's a difference.
Right.
He nominates to say, I want Mr. Joseph Mwenda to be the Chief Justice of the Republic.
Right.
But that nomination is subject to ratification by another body, which is the National Assembly, which means that the president nomination is not final. Right. That's why there is that use of the word nomination, not appointment. So you won't take appointment, you simply assume the office right away. So these words that are used, they're very important, Mr. Mwenda. They're not there as decorations.
Right.
And the structure of government is not there as a decoration.
Right.
If there is a problem, the Chief Justice has failed to perform, there's an internal mechanism. If you have evidence that the Chief Justice has formed, it's not for the president to give him a call. The answer is you take him to the Judicial Complaints Commission.
Right.
That's a procedure. It's not for there to be calls between the president, because then the president is acting as a supervisor. He can't be a supervisor to the Chief Justice. Impossible. It's not there in the law. Right. These are the challenges. So we need to go back to the basics of our Constitution and understand what is stipulated.
Right.
Okay? I have, in the last 35 years, Mr. Mwenda, I have never seen what I'm seeing. Never. Yes, if they want, they can have a private meeting. If they know each other, fine, they can have a private meeting. But not that public display.
Unless at state functions, of course.
Yes, state function, that's different. That's different. It's a state function.
Right.
It's not a problem. Okay? But even other than the official opening of Parliament, I can't think of another function where the president, I mean, even these other strange things that we have seen, where the president is invited to officiate at a judges' conference. Some of those things have never happened in my entire life. I've never seen those things. But they are important for the stability of our constitutional order, to maintain that distinction. Right. But you asked me something very important. So there are a lot of things, Mr. Mwenda, that are wrong. Institutions are weak, and the life of any country is determined by the strength of its institutions. Yes.
Yeah, but before you actually depart from the judiciary, the judges are getting paid poorly, and they have huge workloads. And what's the immediate consequence of these poor salaries by the judges? What then happens in your view?
The system collapses.
Right.
Yeah, the system collapses.
Will they deliver quality judges?
No, forget it. Right. Forget it. I don't want to be extreme in my analysis of the judiciary, but let me hold my tongue. But the point is that the quality of the work suffers.
Right.
Yeah, the quality of work suffers.
Is there room for judges then to be compromised in that particular?
Of course. That's why we talk about corruption. We just had some judges who are kicked out for corruption. Yeah. There are some who are going blatantly selling justice anyway. Right. There are some who created a very powerful syndicate where they would even approach clients and say, you know what, I have your case here. I can give it to you it can be in your favor. You just have to give me something. There are cases like that, you know. But also that is a product of several factors. Right. Because you put in people who should not be there in the first place. Right. You have to understand that when you accept to serve in a public office, it is a service. Okay? The issue is not about money, it's about saving your country. But if money is important to you, then go in the private sector. Right.
But it's also a mindset issue. Sometimes some of the people that were appointed, they have seen what has been happening before their turn came to serve in the judiciary. What does the Movement for National Renewal change in the judiciary once it assumes office? What key fundamental changes are
Mr. Mwenda, first of all, it's not just a question of fixing one thing, right? Because the entire system is supposed to work as an organism. It's a system.
Right.
What happens is that if one part of the system collapses, invariably it brings down the other parts. That's what we have in this country. Right. So that's why even when you are talking about the economy is doing well and everything else, I was just laughing because an economy does not exist in a vacuum. It is anchored in the law. Okay? Anything you talk about is anchored in the law. There is no way you can claim that the economy is doing well when you have no respect for your constitution, you have no respect for rule of law. Impossible. Yes, you'll have some green shoots here and there, but will those green shoots make a green field? The answer is no, they won't. Okay? So there are certain things that you need to fix. Get the systems to operate. First of all, the starting point is not even get the system to operate as they were designed. That is the starting point. How do you do that? The whole process starts with the election.
Right.
Right?
Right.
First, make sure that you elected the right people to be members of parliament.
Right.
Right? The problem is that the people who elect as members of parliament, first of all, have absolutely no clue of what it means to be a member of parliament. That there should be some internal party vetting mechanism. Right. To make sure that the people we present to the people as potential members of parliament understand what it means to be a member of parliament. You have to take that knowledge and experience as a member of parliament, that knowledge, what your understanding of a member of parliament, you must go with it into the office. There is nothing like learning on the job. Right. You must be able to have a basic understanding of what it means.
So the party is going to take its members of aspiring members of parliament to school to learn how to do
No, Mr. Mwenda. First of all, it comes back to the Constitution, right? Last time you told me you're studying law, right?
Yes.
Let me not turn this into a lecture. But the point is this. If you look at Article 43 of the Constitution, somewhere it clearly states that it is the duty of every citizen to have a reasonable understanding of the Constitution.
Why?
Okay.
We are neglecting our duty as citizens.
Yes, we're not neglecting, failing. Failing is not even an option.
Right.
Because the Constitution recognizes the fact that the actual working of our system of government, it requires citizen participation. Citizens must be informed. They must be equipped. We're not saying every citizen must be a constitutional lawyer. No.
Right.
At least have a basic understanding of your Constitution. It's a constitutional obligation.
Right.
People get so irritated to say, I saw somebody says, this man won't finish a sentence without talking about the Constitution.
Actually, on that one, you're absolutely right. And we've actually nicknamed you Mr. Constitution.
That's right. But the point is, Mr. Mwenda, is that it is, it's like being a Christian and not referring to the Bible.
Right.
It's the same thing. You can't be a Christian and be irritated when people talk to you about the Bible.
Right.
No, you can't. But again, you can't be say, I'm a Zambian, I'm a patriot, and then you get annoyed when you are reminded about your constitutional duties. So there is a reasoning behind that. Article 43, check it up. It talks about the fact that, it's not just about you making demands from the country. You have a duty to the country. And one of the duties is that you must understand the Constitution.
So when you are interviewing these aspiring MPs, you'll be asking them about how much they understand about the Constitution?
There'll be an assessment, Mr. Mwenda. There'll be an assessment.
There'll be an exam, a test.
There'll be a test. Because, you see, that's how you start by fixing the system. Get the right people who understand these things. The same with local government. Those who are standing as mayors, councillors, they need to understand what local government is.
Where are you going to find these people who understand fully?
Mr. Mwenda, it's not even, we shouldn't even be having that. It's not a question of where you're going to find them. That's what the law says. Okay? It doesn't matter. That's what the law says.
Right.
We can't say somebody, but again, Mr. Mwenda, you can't tell me that after 60 years of independence, we can't find people that understand the Constitution. You can't say that. Because if that is true, then this is a tragedy. The country is not going anywhere.
They're there, but they're not interested in.
That is fine. But even then, you have to deal with the best that you have.
Right.
Okay, but not everybody can be ignorant. But at least you have to deal with those. So it's not a compromise.
Right.
It's a constitutional stipulation.
Right.
And our problem is we don't take the Constitution seriously.
Right.
But
you're trying to answer the question of how are you going to make fundamental changes in the judiciary? And then you went back to the Constitution. How do you connect the two?
But the point is that, first of all, I'm saying, when it comes to the National Assembly, you have to address those things, both as National Assembly and local government level.
Right.
Make sure that you have the right people. Because, Mr. Mwenda, systems are people. Okay? You are running news diggers. Did you just stand there at the gate? You look like you can write well. Can you come here? I'll give you a job. Did you do that?
No, of course not.
What did you do, Mr. Mwenda? You vetted each one of them.
Yes.
Right?
Right.
So why don't we do the same for our MPs? You know that if you don't get the right people to work as journalists, there'll be no news diggers.
Right.
You know that.
Right.
So that is, you see, the problem is that we pay more attention to our own personal things. But government, we do doba-doba. We shouldn't do that. Okay? The same standards that we set for news diggers. When it comes to government, we should even expect higher quality of people. Why? Because the reach of those guys, the consequences of the decisions they make, have national implications.
Right.
That is why, and I always say that you need your best people to be able to run government.
Right.
So those are the challenges. And so we have to find a way to fix the country. You asked about the judiciary. Very simple. First, there has to be a transparent system of identifying people.
Okay.
Right? I'll tell you, Mr. Mwenda, if you say Right now, there may be, I think they invited maybe 100 or so. I can assure you, if you say you'll be interviewed in the public,
Right. What will happen?
I think 80% of the people will fall off.
They will scamper.
Of course. But the point is that open and transparent system is a sieving mechanism.
Right.
So which means that you have to set your life. Do I have any skeletons in my... We're not asking for sense. Have I done something in my life which would compromise me as a judge? Okay? It starts with that. Is there something that can be exposed if I go for public interview? So what it means is that when you say public interviews, you, for example, you want to be a judge.
Right.
As a member of the public, I can come. I said, no, I don't think Mr. Mwenda is a right candidate for judge.
Right.
Why? Alina nkongole yanga. Anatenga nkongole, akalibe kulipila na manji.
Right.
That is already a stain on your reputation.
Right.
Okay? But even you yourself, you say, I owe you this one. But you make sure that before you go there, you pay me back my money. You understand how transparency works. Yeah. So, unfortunately, we treat the Constitution as a decoration. We treat laws as simply, they're not even worth the papers they are written on. But no country can survive without respecting its laws, and most importantly, without respecting its constitution.
But I want you to get in the mind of the people who are more close to the judiciary is the Movement for National Renewal, promising that once it gets into power, those judges who are getting very poor salaries, their conditions of service will be revised.
Yeah, but Mr. Mwenda, it's not even about the movement. Oh, what, if God willing, that event happens. It's simply following the law. Simply following the law. The law says the judiciary shall be adequately funded. It's not me saying that. It's the Constitution, right? Adequately funded, which means that all the other branches of government can suffer, but the judiciary must be given priority. Okay? But again, that is not a decision you make in a vacuum. You have to look at the competing resources of the country, the priorities and everything else. But whatever happens, the judiciary, even if your budget is very small, even with that, you have to make sure that the judiciary is adequately funded. That's the overriding consideration. It's not me, it's the law.
The corruption is clear. Weakening of the institutions, quite clear. What else really pushes you to get into politics? How bad are things, really?
Very bad, Mr. Mwenda. First of all, if things had been right, you and I would not be seated here having this conversation. If things were right, now people have to understand this is a huge sacrifice for me. I've left the comfort of my private practice.
Right.
It's a sacrifice. Now, why? Because Mr. Mwenda, like I said, I spent years in court fighting government. We just defeated Bill 10.
Right.
I never thought there would be another government that would come wanting to change the constitution months before the election. You also have another extreme situation. You increase the numbers. The country is already stressed financially. You increase the number of seats in the National Assembly from 150 to 226. That is clearly being irresponsible. Completely irresponsible. You have created additional expenditure when you are struggling to meet existing financial obligations. And the economy is not growing, by the way, Mr. Mwenda. Although you are talking about fundamentals, your economy has just been downgraded, that it won't grow at 6.5%. It's now projected to grow at what? 4.5? Something like that.
Right, but then when you are looking at the economy and the fundamentals, we cannot only just focus on just that projection, maybe by one entity. There are other issues.
There may be other issues. At the end of the day, what is the real impact on these fundamentals?
Right.
On the lives of an average person?
Right, and but then with
those are fantastic figure theories which read very well.
Right.
But when the economy is doing well, you don't need to tell me, Mr. Mwenda. I feel it. Okay? I feel it. You and I were just discussing earlier to say the entire advertising industry is dominated by two companies.
For the media.
For the media houses.
That's true.
That tells you how sick the economy is. Because advertisement is a luxury.
Right.
When people are stressed financially, the last thing they cut are services, like advertisement. You advertise, you spend, you have a huge advertising budget when the economy is doing well.
Right.
That in itself is...
But that is also not to immediately mean that the situation is that there is no money for the advertisers. I think it's the evolution of the media space where people are redirecting resources to other sectors. There are other players in the media. Now we have social media. Now we have players on social media who are actually quite influential.
Yes.
People are making budgets towards that other than traditional media. But then I want to take you back to the... You are speaking endlessly about Bill 7, and you are saying it as if it's such a terrible thing that has happened.
Oh, yes. Mr. Mwenda, is terrible.
What is bad about this? Well, you're saying, okay, no, you have missed your priorities if you're going to increase the size of the...
Yeah, but also it's not just the timing is also wrong. You can't start playing around with the Constitution months before the election. Okay?
But there's nothing that directly touches on or protects these guys' stay in power. The Bill 7, I've read.
Mr. Mwenda,
I don't think there is.
Can we wait for the delimitation report to come out?
I don't see what suggests that with this Bill 7 now, the UPND is almost guaranteed they'll go through. Do you see anything?
And I'm saying, let's wait for the delimitation report to come out. Then you can invite me, we can have another discussion. Because that's the last thing that is missing from all these amendment process. Let's see how where the additional constituencies will be allocated.
Right.
Then we can have a conversation. Yeah, but the point, to come to the point which you raised earlier on,
right.
I reached the stage where I asked myself, what else can I do? Right? And that is when I decided to say, okay, at this rate, this was my own personal judgment, at this rate, if I continue fighting cases in court, I mean, you had another position where this is something that people normally get confused over. We argued Lungu's eligibility, for example. We lost. I accepted that. Lungu stood. Now, all of a sudden, everything gets unraveled by the same court that Lungu is no longer eligible. You don't do that, Mr. Mwenda.
I want us to talk in detail about that. But
that is chaos. That is the lawlessness I'm talking about.
Right.
You don't do that.
Right.
It is something you can revisit, but involving other players, but not the same person on the same facts.
Right.
You don't do that. Okay? And when I appeared as a friend of the court, I argued, do you have power to do what you're doing?
Right.
Okay? But whichever way. But what also happened you know what happened? That judgment was preceded by the dismissal of 3 judges. If you are talking about Mingalato, that is Mingalato now. At a very higher level, far more complex, where you have the pieces are being moved in a certain way with a desired end in mind. Now, you don't do that because the Constitution, Mr. Mwenda, is sacred.
Right.
The Constitution is bigger than you, bigger than everybody else, bigger than the president, and so forth. It is a sacred document which you need to respect. So, I mean, Mr. Mwenda, with that background, you look at it and say, okay, what is it? Because on a democratic scale, the country is sliding. Economically, the country is sliding. You can manufacture. Here is another point that you must remember, Mr. Mwenda. When they say the country is doing well, in comparison to what?
To the immediate previous government.
No, Mr. Mwenda. First of all, you don't do that because that previous government was a failed government, right?
Failed.
Yes.
Now we are getting...
You know the best thing, the best way to compare yourself, you compare yourself with other countries.
Okay.
Okay? You compare yourself with other countries. To say, on this particular day, Zambia was here, Kenya was here. Zambia is there, Kenya is here. That's how you regulate, you control your success. Now, you cannot compare yourself with your previous government. Here's the reason why. All the challenges we have had in this country, they are cumulative. Even the mess we are in currently, it cannot be attributed to this government alone. It started with Kaunda. It's been a progression, okay, which has gone on. But the country is sliding. But nobody has been able to arrest that decline, to say, let's address the decline. And then, because what has happened is that the best reference point I like doing is to be able to say, let's look at the position in 1964. Where are we in comparison to 64? So when we are judging all the presidents in the last 60 years. Cumulatively, they have failed. Okay? Because we have failed to maintain. What it is that we had gains at 1964. And we are now in negative gain, if we look at that from that perspective. Again, if we compare ourselves to other countries, we have done very badly, Mr. Mwenda.
Some countries, very badly. Some were doing fairly well.
Overall, when you compare Zambia, considering the fact that this was the third richest country in 1964, I'll give you some statistics which I normally refer to. If you look at Kenya, for example, right? Kenya got independence in 1963. The GDP of Kenya was $1 billion, but its population was 9 million. Zambia's GDP was nearly also $1 billion, but the population was 3.5. Therefore, Zambia's GDP per capita was about $235, whereas Kenya's was about $100. Where is Kenya today?
Ahead.
Okay? Kenya's economy, GDP, is $130 billion. Where is Zambia's GDP today? Zambia is still struggling under $30 billion. But we've never clocked $30 billion. Let me finish the point, Mr. Mwenda. What is it that Zambia has in terms of minerals and everything as compared to Kenya? Zambia is better endowed in terms of natural resources than Kenya. Okay? If you can check this, the wealth generated in Nairobi alone, the GDP of Nairobi alone, Mr. Mwenda, is $30 billion. We should be ashamed of ourselves. Here, the last mark we closed, is it last year, we closed with what? 24, $25 billion dollars in terms of GDP. We're not doing well, Mr. Mwenda. We can lie to ourselves as much as we want, but the other indicator that will tell you about how troubled we are as a country is the general collapse in social services. When you have a classroom of students taking up 180 pupils per class, that, Mr. Mwenda, is a disaster you're sitting on. You can claim free medical, free education, all you want, but the ratios are frightening.
But which is better, State Council? Keeping the numbers low with...
No, I'm not saying that. What I'm saying is that look at that ratio of 180 students. You know what that means? What it means is that your construction of classrooms is not keeping up with the population. That's what you have. Now, when it's 7 myself, this would be around 1977. You know how many we were in class? 35 in a government class, in a government school.
But the answer for the UPND is that we have actually increased the allocation to CDF, and we're constructing more and more and more classrooms. That's the reason
Mr.
why I'm
Mwenda,
saying
don't get me started in CDF. Okay? That's another problem. Okay, Mr. Mwenda.
Well, we are actually running a publication, and we are...
You have data, data to that effect?
Not necessarily data, but we have actually empirical evidence that it is working.
And
a lot of classrooms have been built, a lot of health facilities. Councils are so empowered now. They have graders, they can make roads, they don't have to wait for the central government. Progress.
No. Mr. Mwenda, the key to developing the grassroots is to empower the local authorities. okay, revamp the local authorities. That's the key. It doesn't matter how much money you spend in CDF and everything else. It will come to nothing. The key is revamp, restore the local authorities. Okay? If you indulge me, when we were growing up, we have had a functional local authorities, right? Local authorities used to generate their own money. Okay, they had houses, for example. All the councils had houses. I don't know whether you knew this. Local authorities used to run taverns and bars to generate income for the local authority, right? Why? Because they're running these businesses to generate income so that they can be able to provide services to their communities. But all local authorities are struggling financially. That is what we should be talking about. Look at it this way. You put up a school. Who is responsible for maintenance?
There is a component within CDF for maintenance.
Huh?
A component within.
Yeah, but who is responsible for that? Now, what you're doing is that you have an existing structure.
Right.
Local authorities, right? What you're doing is that you're trying to do something outside this structure. And yet, what is supposed to be done is that all these things can actually be undertaken by the local authorities. So they're adequately funded. You know, that's why we call it government at a local level. Okay? You have your councillors sit in the council chamber, right? They make resolutions as to how that district should be run.
Right.
That is what needs fixing. You see, CDF and everything is Band-Aid. That's Band-Aid, Mr. Mwenda.
Right.
It looks good, but it's Band-Aid. You are not addressing the underlying factors. The underlying factor is that you have a collapsed local authority system.
Okay.
That's what needs fixing, not CDF.
Exciting.
Yeah.
Listeners and viewers, in case you're joining us, my name is Joseph Mwenda. I'm your host for Mind Your Business. We are joined today by Movement for National Renewal leader, State Council John Sangwa.
I actually prefer to be referred to as a member.
Member, not a leader.
No.
You're the president, we know.
No. I know.
We know the drill.
we Zambians have an obsession for titles,
Of course.
Yeah.
Of course.
Yeah. You asked me about earlier on, just before the break.
Right.
As to the point that you raised as to what prompted me. Mr. Mwenda, it wasn't an easy decision.
I would believe so.
Yeah. The reason is that I have the advantage of understanding the historical background of this country.
Right.
Okay? We're going back to the 1800s to date. So I spent a lot of time to understand where have we gone wrong.
Right.
Now, I explained to somebody to say, sometimes in practice, somebody comes and says, my lawyer is very bad. I want to change lawyers.
Right.
We always tell clients to say, slow down. We're not going to commit that to take over the case. But can you just give us the papers that you have found so that we analyze them? It may turn out that your lawyer is actually doing a fantastic job.
Oh, really?
In which case we'll say, stay. You're in good hands. We only take up a case if I believe that I can do a better job than Mr. Mwenda. Okay? Which means I have to analyze the work done by Mr. Mwenda, make a determination as to whether I can do better. I'll have noted where you've gone wrong as Mr. Mwenda, why I believe your case is weak, why you are not likely to win the case, which means I should be in a position to do much better than Mr. Mwenda. I did the same analysis in taking that decision.
Right.
Given a chance, can I do better? And what is it that makes me think I can do better?
Right.
And that is why, Mr. Mwenda, I took that decision. Because I believe, given a chance, we can do better. And it is also about understanding where others have actually failed.
Right.
You can only do better when you identify the weaknesses of the previous actors, so that you then must be able to do things differently. Mr. Mwenda, that is what this whole exercise has been about, is to be able to start to understand where have they gone wrong. And that has informed all the steps we have taken. The first thing that I started was I issued that 10-point plan.
Right.
And not only that, if I may just backtrack a little bit, at some point when things were really hotting up, certain people reached out to me and said, why don't you consider offering yourself for public office? These were friends within and outside Zambia. But I already started this conversation within myself.
Right.
So these people just came to consolidate that position.
Right.
Then I said, yes, I can. First of all, Mr. Mwenda, it's a duty of every Zambian to serve his country.
Right.
It's not optional. You have to decide, how can I contribute to my country?
Right.
And in this case, I was being asked to serve my country in an elective position. I had to make an assessment. What is it that would make me different? Right? I came up with those 10 points. And I said, guys, for us to succeed, we need to subscribe to these 10 points.
Right.
One of the points is this. We need to get Zambians to understand how messed up the country is. Mr. Mwenda, the reasoning is very simple. You don't go to the hospital unless you acknowledge that you are sick. You don't take medicine unless you know that you are sick. Similarly, a country must be able to recognize that it is sick so that it can now begin to undergo the process of reform.
Right.
But if the country doesn't believe that it is doing badly, who are you going to convince to reform?
Right.
No one.
Right.
Two, we realize that the country is also greatly divided. You cannot develop a divided country. We preach unity. We must be able to agree on unity. Thirdly, we said, this country, a country can never be developed on lies. Meaning that, Mr. Mwenda, we should have an honest conversation, no matter how difficult that conversation might be.
Right.
The other point we committed ourselves to is that going forward, the country should try and live within its means, because the borrowings have killed this country.
Right.
Yeah, there's nothing wrong in borrowing. It is what you do with the borrowing. The other point that we emphasize, of course, is there must be rule of law. No country can be transformed without rule of law. And most importantly, respect for the Constitution. That's amongst the 10 points. And most importantly, Mr. Mwenda, we said we should fund our own democracy.
I will be coming to funding your own democracy. But earlier in the interview, you actually said one of the challenges that we have as a country is the fact that this president doesn't understand the problems that Zambia has. And because of that, it's very difficult for him to lead towards solutions.
That's right.
The question is, if we say he doesn't understand, you could be speaking to lack of experience. This is a man from the private sector. You are a man from the private sector too. How do you understand the problems of Zambia better than him?
Well, you have to take a keen interest. We can all live. You can all live in the same environment, but you can choose not to be disinterested. And another person can be very passionate about the country, and you'll be able to know what the answers are. The fact that we're all in the same country doesn't mean that it gives us the same kind of outlook about the country. That's why we're saying, if you look at Article 43, it says that we must be patriotic. It's a constitutional requirement.
Right.
I can be more patriotic than you are. You can be more patriotic than I am. Or I may not be patriotic at all. What does it mean to be patriotic? It means putting the country first.
Right.
Okay. Even when your interest, personal interest, Mr. Mwenda, becomes secondary, the interest of the country becomes number one. That's what it means.
Is that how you are also assessing this president? That he's not a patriotic man, in your view?
Mr. Mwenda, I don't normally like assessing these things. If you ask me, do I believe he's a patriot? No, I don't think so.
Sure.
No, I don't.
This is a man who has he's given his entire business to risk to say, I want to stay in politics. He lost so many times. He stayed on and goes into office. He actually says, I'm here to change the narrative. I want free education. In fact, I want to pass it into law. as and I'm going to continue to decentralize and push more money.
Mr.
In fact, I don't even need a salary. In fact, State Council, I don't even need a salary. All right. I want to make things change for my country. That's a patriot.
Okay. There's one thing to pronounce that. There's another thing to leave it. There's action and there is talk. But that's my assessment.
Right.
Right?
But then you are here.
Yes, Mr.
And I'm sure before you became a politician, because now you are a full-fledged politician, before you became a politician, you were saying a lot of things about what politicians are doing wrong and, if things need to change in this direction. But now you have gone in. Is it time already for you to go back to the people like me and say, before I jumped in to see the environment, the political environment from inside as a contender, I was thinking that it's possible to do this and that, but right now, as a person who is vying for the presidency, I think it's very, very difficult. How are you settling in?
Mr. Mwenda, it's not an easy kind of decision, and I had no illusion as that it was going to be easy. I mean, I took this to say, this is a sacrifice for me, right? It is a sacrifice. I remember in one of the conversations we are having, one of the guys I was having to say, State Council, how far are you prepared to go with this new assignment you're undertaking? I said, all the way. So what does it mean? Right. I said, well, if it means I have to sacrifice my life for it, I'm ready. Okay.
Sacrificing you have no intention of reversing in case you don't pull through in.
No. What I mean, Mr. Mwenda, is that when you get in, you don't have to think about what will happen to me. You focus on the assignment at hand. Right. If it means you perishing in the process of pursuing that goal, so be it. That's what I meant.
But it takes a lot of money, State Council, in this country, to politics and, to just mobilize for campaigns. It takes a lot of money.
Yeah.
I'm on outside, and from my perspective, it looks like you are still structuring the leadership of the movement, of the party.
Yes.
And that means you are remaining with very few months to actually hit the ground running and start mobilizing voters.
Okay.
You are late.
Mr. Mwenda. Okay, we've talked about a lot of things, but let's unbundle them. You talked about the first thing that we were talking about, which is whether one is a patriot or not, right? I've answered that. That's my opinion. I might be wrong, but that's my opinion, because there are certain things that a patriot must do. A patriot puts his country first. A patriot puts the people of his country first.
Right.
Okay? That's what is supposed to happen. Now, what did I do when I decided to get involved? I made a determination to say, why is it that other political parties have failed in the past? Okay? You have to understand. You can't just jump into it carelessly. Right. One of the things you realize is that people just wake up one day and say, I'm forming a political party. And what happens? You're the only one there. Right. And I said, no, this is not something that I can do alone. I need people. And I set a mark. We set a mark to say we need the support of at least 1 million Zambians to come on board. Right. That's why we carried out that exercise. The reason for that is that Zambia cannot be saved by one person. Impossible. Right. There's no messiah for Zambia. We are all collectively going to save this country, which means you do your part, I do my part.
Do you believe in the conviction of the 1 million people who have registered? Do you believe in their conviction?
Yes, because we made it open.
Patronizing you?
Well, I wouldn't know that. But what it is that I made a call and we got that 1 million people. Yes, there may be others who may have just been doing it for the fun of it. You expect that. And you also expect a few other people may just gotten into it without even knowing what they're getting into it. So there is always that. There will always be some people who will be able. But the point is, I didn't start alone. Okay? I have a reasonable number of people with me, okay, which is the first starting point. The reason is that I wanted to avoid this nation to say, it's my party. It's not my party. That's why when you call me leader, I don't consider myself a leader. I simply consider myself one of the many members of the movement.
The founding members.
Possibly, yeah. The other point, of course, which is there is that I'm quite glad that I can tell you, Mr. Mwenda, to say if I drop dead today, the movement will continue.
Okay. You think so? Already?
Oh, yes.
Even at this stage?
Yes, I know that.
Really?
Yes.
Okay.
That was the rationale for the 1 million.
Interesting.
Yeah.
From the outside, looks like it's you and Madame Dorika Band.
No, Mr. Mwenda, we drop dead today. I drop dead today, the movement will continue.
Interesting. But everybody, when they come on board, they always say it's not my party, it's not about me.
But it's also it's about claims, but it's about execution. It's also about they claim, but it's also about how you execute it
Exactly.
on the ground.
And one of the methods you have used, which is quite unorthodox, is the mobilization, resource mobilization strategy.
Yes.
We would have thought that you made so much money, TV Tumbiko, and you had a fat check or a fat pace where you were going to draw the resources. Suddenly, you are asking us to start sponsoring campaigns.
Yes.
We are poor.
No,
we don't have the money. We are looking for people who can fund their own campaigns, use other means, so that you don't stress us further.
No.
Why should we go and run around starting to give you 5 kwacha, 20 kwacha, up to 20,000? Why?
I'll answer that. That decision is informed by history. All right? Like I said, Mr. Mwenda, when you take up an assignment, you must be able to convince yourself that you can do things differently and better.
Right.
Okay? When you look at our history, during the time of one-party state, what has happened is that elections were run by government. They were funded by government. It's one-party state.
Right.
So there was no requirement for you, Mr. Mwenda, to raise your own money for the campaign. Everything was taken care of by the state.
Right.
So there was no reason for you to auction yourself to the highest bidder. There was no reason for you to put in your own money because everything was organized by the state. After 1991, that changed. Now we're in a multi-party system of government. And what happens now, you now have private money coming in to control the elections.
Right.
Now, you know very well, there's no free lunch, Mr. Mwenda. If somebody donates, say, $1 million to your campaign, that's not for free. You have to find a way to pay them back. You can either do that by giving them contracts, which happens, or you can change policies in such a way that it benefits them and they recover the money.
Right.
Now, you realize that is a cancer, that is a problem which we have to overcome. The other interesting thing that you must note, Mr. Mwenda, is that in the amendment of the Constitution of 2016, there was a requirement now for political parties to be able to disclose. It's actually provided for. They have that there has to be a law passed to require political parties to disclose the source of funding, and for political parties' books to be audited. So that law should have been passed in 2016. It wasn't passed.
Why?
2017, they initiated a bill.
Right.
I think they looked at it, it's too hot. They never passed that bill. That bill is gathering dust.
Right.
So PF, throughout its period, never passed that law. That law would have required to disclose wherever you're getting your money. Under this government, also that law has never been passed.
Right.
And I was actually forced to start a case in court to compel them to pass such a law. The reason is that if you don't know the source of funding, campaign finance, effectively the election is bought for you.
Right.
Okay? Now, the question then is, I'm a lawyer, I've taken oath to defend the Constitution. Although the law is not there, that obligation is in the Constitution.
Right.
I am still bound to respect the Constitution.
Right.
And find a transparent way of accounting for those political funding.
But the proposal is that you must disclose. It's not that the citizens must fund, but
Yes,
just
there
disclose.
is a reason.
Even if it's $1 million, just disclose.
There is a reasoning for
Right.
the citizens' involvement. right? Mr. Mwenda, citizens are active participants in the governance of their country, right? The idea is to get the mindset shift, to get Zambians to believe, to accept the fact they are not spectators. They have to be actively involved in the governance of the country.
Right.
And that would include funding. Now, we want the people of Zambia to have ownership in the party.
Right.
When you don't fund the party, I'm not accountable to you. Right? Now, if I get funded by business interests, Mr. Mwenda, I'm accountable to those business interests, not to the people. But when we say democracy is the government of the people, by the people, for the people, ultimately the people should be able to fund that. Now, I don't want to be captured by business interests. I would rather be captured by Zambians than business interests so that I can work for the Zambian people.
Do you have any
we have to change the narrative because what has happened is that there is no free lunch, like I've said, Mr. Mwenda. When you don't know the source of funding, you don't know what deals have been struck in order to pay back that money. Now, this is what has been happening. And that is why sometimes we wonder, political pronouncements during campaign change when people are in government. So what has happened? Right. And certain policies are initiated. You look at it. Are these guys working for foreign interests or they are working for local interests? It comes back to the issue of funding. Okay. Now, the other point is that the funding has to be transparent. We all have to chip in. I'll tell you one thing. You talked about me having worked in a law firm. Yes. Mr. Mwenda, I wouldn't say I'm a rich person. I'm not a rich person. In fact, one friend of mine who is now late said, John, being a lawyer will never make you rich unless you're a crook. But true, though? Yes, very true, Mr. Mwenda. Very true. But being a lawyer will give you a comfortable life, but not making you wealthy or rich. No, unless you are crooked. But having said that, yes, we have now put in a fundraising system. The reason is to get Zambians to get involved. Right now, Zambians have only been spectators. They are promised. The only time Zambians become active is during election time. No, that's not how a system is supposed to work.
Right.
The election is simply the beginning. Then after election, there's a process of continuous engagement to hold your leaders accountable. Now, what is the reason? The way the system is being done is all wrong. I go there, Mr. Mwenda, you're a voter. I buy you a beer. I buy you a thing. I understand some political parties even cook food for voters. Those things, I will never do them, Mr. Mwenda. Never. I will never do them. Okay? Because that amounts to vote buying in the first place. Right? Now, and which is all illegal. Right. First of all, it is a sign of desecration of a vote. Because, Mr. Mwenda, a vote is priceless. Right. You can't buy a vote. It is sacred. The moment you begin to pay the voters to vote for you, you have destroyed the system. That is something that I will never do. I'd rather lose than to buy voters. Okay? And that is why I'm asking to say, guys, it is our collective responsibility. Can we chip in? As we are chipping in, Mr. Mwenda, we're also saying contribution doesn't need to be monetary all the time. Right. Okay, it can also be in kind. For example, I've had people have phoned me to say, you know what, when you are going to Northern Province, please let me know. I'll join you. Okay? I'll use my own car. I'll use my own fuel. I'll join you. Right. That is a contribution. Right? Doesn't have to be monetary. For monetary contribution, you have to understand that we need to change the narrative. You can put in 5 kwacha, 100 kwacha, whatever amount. We have set a limit of 20,000 per month. Very simple. We don't want anybody to come up and say, me, I contributed more. We don't want that.
But if I want to give you more, it's my wish.
We have set the limit, Mr. Mwenda. You can find another creative way of giving us more. But we have set that limit, 20,000. And even for me, you know what I've put in, Mr. Mwenda? 20,000.
Oh, wow.
Yes.
Okay. Wait. You have a backup, State Council, for this fundraising mechanism. If people don't give you enough money, surely there must be a backup. How are you going to campaign?
No. Mr. Mwenda, this is where the problem is. It's very simple. It's very, very simple. People must fund the campaign. There's no backup. I've put in my 20,000, right? And I'll be expecting you, if you also support us, to put in your 20,000, and every Zambian to put in their whatever they can afford. Now, I have been approached by some people. Say, no, we can help you. What? I've refused. I have refused. Up to this day, I can tell you bluntly and arrogantly that I've not received money from any person whatsoever to this day.
Apart from the donations you are receiving?
Apart from the donations we are receiving.
How is the party managing people who are saying, I would like to give maybe a 50,000, but you are saying per month it can only be...
Give us a 20. Give us a 20. Oh, by the way, if you want to give us a 50, what do we do when we go in church, by the way? You are 3 of you. The other 2 don't have. You have 300 kwacha. What do you do? Your plan was to give out. Your plan was to give out 100, right? So you say, you now kwato mutulo atiawe shkwete. Okay, sendako. What do? You spray, and then we all go put in the same basket. Simple. You know, the idea is the principle. No person should be made to feel important that he contributed more. Not even me. I've put in my 20,000. That's it.
What happens if you don't raise enough money?
Mr. Mwenda, that is the choice of the Zambian people. It's as simple as that. It's as simple as that.
You won't be able to campaign, State Council.
Well, if that is what the people of Zambia have decided, that's their decision. You must understand, Mr. Mwenda, that when you run a democracy, right?
Right.
A no is also an answer.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
You have to respect the rules of democracy. You know, I can ask you, Mr. Mwenda, can you fund me? You say, no, I'm just asking for 20 kwacha. You'd say, no, that too is your democratic right. Okay? If Zambians said, sorry, we're not funding your campaign, and I said, okay, thank you very much. But I'm not about to go and prostitute myself to try and raise money for the campaign. No, that won't happen. First of all, it's illegal. Okay, Mr. Mwenda, it's illegal. Okay?
Right.
It is illegal.
Right.
Now, I'm a lawyer. There are certain risks I cannot take. I don't want to be accused of money laundering in the first place.
Right.
Or what we see in this campaign period, it's all money laundering. It's all money laundering. You know? You ask these other guys who are spending money, where are they getting the money from? Where? It's money laundering.
Interesting.
Yeah, but I'm a lawyer. I'm not about to do that. That is why we have provided a platform where if you put in your 20 kwacha, it will show. 30 kwacha, it will show. I know the source of funding. Okay? It's in the bank.
And the people can see. I've seen the application.
Yes.
Very brilliant application,
you can
by the way.
See
your credit.
Yes.
Who built that? Who came? Is that your idea? That application. A lot of people are seeing it for the first time.
Yes.
It's possible.
But when you are committed, you are creative. Mr. Mwenda, you can do anything.
Right.
Yeah. You know, we decided to say we got some developers and said, this is what we like to do. Right. Then say, well, dream it, we'll make it. So they have done that. Right. You know, so it has various features in the sense that you can see in real time how much money is coming in.
If I put 1,000 kwacha,
yes.
How long does it take for me to see?
If it is mobile money, it is instant.
Right.
It's instant.
Mobile to the bank? If it
yes, it's mobile money to the bank. It's instant. If it is
instant, as in the moment I'm done, I go and check.
Within seconds, you see the money there reflected.
And the balance will change?
Will change, yes, straight away.
Okay.
Yeah. People have done that. You just see there's even it's actually, the system is updated every 1 minute.
Right.
Yeah. But if you do, for example, the bank account is with the FNB, you transfer the money, it's instant. Pop.
Right.
If it is coming from another bank account, it will take the normal clearing period.
Right.
If it's a day or so, the following day you see it go up. If it is mobile money, it is instant.
Right.
And there is only one collection point, which is this bank account.
Right.
I'm not about to ruin my life over money, Mr. Mwenda, at this age. No. Everything is being done in a transparent manner.
I've seen a spreadsheet which actually shows from the first donation to the most
recent one. Yes, from the beginning up to the latest one. Yeah.
The problem is going to come in on, I've seen that you have actually put, this is how much money we have.
Yes.
And this is how much has been spent.
Yes.
Right now, I saw a zero.
Zero, yes.
That means you haven't even started spending this money.
No, we haven't started spending.
How transparent are you going to be with the expenditure?
Oh, yes. Just as we are transparent with the inflows, we'll also be transparent with the outflows.
Because that's where the key is.
Yes. There will also be a list of outflows, whom we are paid. That takes me to the issue of CDF.
For the
it will appear.
It will show.
It will show that so $10,000 was paid. 10,000 kwacha was paid to news diggers.
Right.
Because these are public funds. We have to account for them.
Right.
Yes. So if there's an entry for news diggers, it will show. They can phone you. Right. Is it true that you actually got 10,000 kwacha from the movement? Right. Everything is there.
Interesting.
This is how transparent we ought to be. Coming to the issue of CDF, you know how you can evaluate the success of CDF. Make it transparent. The same platform we have, you can have it per constituency. Yes, so that people can see, because right now there is a dispute between the people in the constituency and the ministry. The ministry will say, we have disbursed everything. But the constituency is saying, no, we have only received 8 million.
Right.
So, to create transparency, what you do, get the minister, have a dashboard for each constituency. If you're serious.
Exactly.
Yeah, if you're serious. That's why I'm telling you, CDF is a band-aid. It's not a solution. If you are serious, make it transparent. Boom, 40 million kwacha came in. People can see it. You can go to the website. Check. When they start spending, Mr. Mwenda to build a clinic for 10,000. This one to do this. This one to do this. Mr. Mwenda, you create that level of transparency, you eliminate theft of public resources.
Right. Yeah. And some Zambians I've seen, they're actually excited to donate.
Yes.
But I'm not sure if you have already implemented the mobile to mobile. This means people can make a donation from via Airtel Money, MTN Money, and other platforms like that. I do understand.
That is something we are working on. The other point is that, you see, because it's new, we are reacting to people's demands.
Right.
Now, our most important concern is accountability. Right now, money is going into one account, which can be audited. Fine. Now, we don't want to create so many collection points. But what you try and do is to create that system. We are working on it, and we'll see how it works out. Yeah.
Now, assuming you've made more money.
Yes.
And, how are you going to... what does this mean? Because is a donation forever, or is up to a particular date?
No.
How much are you hoping to raise?
Somebody told me, said, we've done our numbers, and you know why, Mr. Mwenda, I wouldn't buy food for anyone for voters.
Right.
What it means is that your donation. I have to buy another person food or beers. Can you think about how immoral that is? It's simply wrong.
Right.
I wouldn't do that. Mr. Mwenda contributed his 10,000. Why should I take that 10,000 to buy you a bottle of beer? Why? I have to be really sick to do that. Right? But if the source of my money is unknown, it's easy.
Exactly.
I'll simply get it. It's okay. Because I'll say, listen, Mr. Mwenda has contributed. Why can't you also contribute? But it is different for me to say, you know what? I'm going to pay this young man who will be going door to door to mobilize voters. That's different.
Right.
Okay? I'll pay him. It makes sense.
Right.
Because that's a job now which he has, and I can pay him for that. Or I can pay him for transport. And the beauty is that, first of all, there'll be no money moving in brown envelopes. Right? Because I just want you in Kaputa, you have an assignment. We simply say, tell us your mobile number.
Right.
You send mobile money. Okay? I have a record. And there's no middleman. Because most of these money campaign funds which are collected
disappears within middlemen.
in transit. So we have learned a lot. We have to try something new. Now, Mr.
How much do you hope to make?
Mr. Mwenda, right now we have run our numbers. We are looking at, say, I think we can run a decent campaign with 100 million kwacha.
Really? Okay.
Somebody made me laugh to say, are you serious about 100 million kwacha? I said, yes. I said, well, 100 million kwacha was a media budget for some political party in the last election.
Exactly. I'm surprised. 100 million kwacha?
Mr. Mwenda, you have to be responsible and account for each and every ingwe that comes through. Yeah. And it is easy to raise that kind of money. Or what it will take is 1 million Zambians to give you 100 kwacha. You have 100 million. Yeah. And make sure that the money is used properly. There are no middlemen, because the bank, even the figures that people talk about to say it takes $50 million to run a campaign, but I can assure you possibly 60 to 70% of that money disappears. Maybe only a fraction is actually utilized for the campaign. Now, the estimates are again very difficult because, Mr. Mwenda, you can have you can even spend $1 billion kwacha. You can. You remember the last MMD campain? How much money was sunk in?
Yes.
Yeah. So
I do remember.
Yes.
But is it feasible?
To
the 100 million really? Is it, because that's give and take about $5 million.
Yes, $5 million.
One person can actually give you $5 million.
Well, I don't want that money from any one person. Even if I had that $5 million, I wouldn't put it in the campaign.
But you delay the movement from
it won't. Mr. Mwenda, we have to show respect to the Zambian people, to the voters. If they want it to happen, they'll make it happen. Okay? But what I'm refusing is to go and prostitute myself, get money from other. By the way, I've had several people come through. Some have even tried to come through my wife, and I simply said, she simply tells them, don't even bother, But you know very well, you want to be able to do things differently.
Right. These people are willing to push some more money.
Of course, yeah. But we simply say, that's why I'm making this public statement, so that if there are still those who are still disillusioned that they can bring in money, or what we are saying, if you have money to give us 20,000, put it in the bank account. You don't need to see me.
Who says no to money? State Council. Who says no to money?
Who says?
It's just money.
Yes, but Mr. Mwenda, maybe you're a better human being than I am.
Right.
But there has to be discipline. That's what has killed this country. Okay? Like I have said, there's no free lunch.
Right.
And this is where we have differed with some of my colleagues. Some of my colleagues, I said, listen, they have come to say, can we work together? And I said, sure. What's the funding issue? No, we can take money from anywhere. I said, no, you can't.
Right.
No, but you see, some businessmen are prepared to give us money, but they can't do it openly because they're afraid of being squeezed. Then I said, I'm not getting money in sacks. No way. That won't happen.
Right.
I won't. Okay?
But then you will have no kingmakers.
What?
And what those kingmakers do is to put you in power so that, they protect
They own you. Yes.
And this time, since they know that you don't have a particular kingmaker, they will fight you. They will use those resources to make sure that they delay or...
They may, but I have faith in the Zambian people. Ultimately, they don't vote. If one is a kingmaker, he only has one vote. But the votes are with the Zambian people. And that is why my appeal, my message is always to the Zambian people.
What if you are sweet-talking us right now and saying, I'm a very transparent man, this is how I'll mobilize my resources. Once you cross, in August, God willing, then the whole system changes. Suddenly, we don't even know what is going on with our actual tax money. This whole situation has changed now. You're very transparent during the campaign. Well, now you have moved in and you've completely changed your your mission. Now we don't even know. You start telling us state security. We can't tell you how my movements are, how much money is being spent on my trips and so on and so forth. What stops you from doing that? In fact, you even go to bed with the very people you were saying, I don't want your money.
Mr. Mwenda, those key players, they are critical to get in. But once you get in, you don't need them, right? But if I didn't deal with them before, why should I? What will be the incentive of me to deal with them after? What will be the incentive? Zero. There's no reason.
Right.
People deal with them so that they can buy the election for them. But if the Zambian people are the ones that have given me that opportunity, why should I betray them?
Right.
Yeah. So I'm quite comfortable in that respect. And like I said, even if, let's say, I had the 5 million, I wouldn't put in my 5 million in there.
Right.
I wouldn't. The reason being that when you put in that kind of money, you become arrogant. What can you tell me? I put in my money, right? So I have to,
right.
Were you there when I was raising money to finance it? You know, is to avoid all those things,
right?
So that at the end of the day, it is funded by the Zambian people.
How are you reacting to this question that there is no single party or movement that can actually unseat the UPND in August? You all have to get together as the opposition and at least front one candidate. Are you available to that conversation?
Now, Mr. Mwenda, you know, first of all, to argue like that is actually an act of lawlessness. It's an act of lawlessness.
How?
You are disobeying or disregarding your constitution.
As a party?
No, as a people.
Okay.
You see, we're in a democracy, which means any person can wake up and if he believes he has enough resources to contest for election, he's free to do so.
Right.
You can't force people to go into an alliance. You can't. It's undemocratic.
Well, no one is forcing, but your willingness.
Yes, but I just want to clear this notion where people begin to decry, to say, to complain, oh, no, they should come together. But you can't force people to come together, right? That is the essence. Democracy is all about giving people options.
Right.
If I believe I can make it, there's no way you can talk to me about not standing alone. But even this thing you're talking about, that there is no, nobody can unseat the current government. Samanda, it's an illusion. It's a myth. Okay, first, you don't go into an alliance for the sole purpose of removing a current government.
Okay.
The premise is wrong. You go in an alliance because you believe you have better policies to the Zambian people, why they should vote for you. Not to remove the other guy. No, you have to have a package of message to the Zambian people. Right. Tell them why they should think that voting for you guys is a better option than maintaining the status quo. That should be the motivation. Right. Not to say, no, but we have to make sure that this one doesn't pass. Now, that is the least of my worries.
Why?
Right?
Is that the least of your worries?
Because Zambians are smart. The people that are not smart are the politicians.
Like you. Because I think right now you must be saying, let me see how the Movement for National Renewal is going to align itself in terms of policy and your 10-point plan to say, this is the direction I'm going to take. And I think that political party and that political party kind of come close to what I'm looking for. Let's get together and let's have a conversation.
Yeah, here is another problem that you have.
Yeah.
First of all, the law doesn't recognize such kind of alliances.
Right.
That is why all the alliances that have been cooked up have all failed. Because there's no legal framework for that.
What do you mean?
First, if you go to the bill, political parties bill,
yes,
it regulates alliances. If it had been passed, it would have given us a legal basis for an alliance.
Right.
Yeah. Under that bill, which is the position people are replicating or are trying to copy the Kenyan experience.
Right.
But in Kenya, there is a law which we haven't passed. In that country, what happens is that if you come into an alliance, right, you have to sign an agreement on how you're going to proceed as political parties.
Okay, I get you.
That agreement should contain the details of what you have agreed upon.
Right.
You now take that agreement, you deposit it with the registrar of political parties.
Right.
It becomes a legally binding agreement, which means you can't just walk away from it. It becomes legally binding on you.
Okay.
Here, we don't have That's why people can sign an agreement today by 10 o'clock, 15 hours, it is trashed.
Right.
There's no law. And there is nothing you can do.
Right.
But where it is a legal agreement, you can actually go to court to enforce it. Okay? So what happens then in the absence of a law? It becomes a gentleman's agreement.
Yeah.
Okay?
Right.
So
This is the long answer. Your very long answer of saying, I'm not doing that.
so you have to look, are there gentlemen out there? Are there people of integrity?
Right.
You know, it's now about Mr. Mwenda, me looking at you in the eye and the two of us shaking hands.
Right.
To say, Mr. Mwenda, this is done.
Right.
Your word is enough. Tell me how many characters out there in the political arena. There's a problem. Okay? Other people have asked me to say, would you work with other people? To your question, the answer is very simple, Mr. Mwenda. In all these things, my priority is the country.
Right.
If there are political parties there who are prepared to put aside their own personal interest and put the country first,
Right.
we are willing to work with them.
Interesting. But then suppose this political party, which, as you say, willing to put the people's interests first, has a different funding mechanism from yours.
Oh, yes, there's a problem. So that means also...
They've gotten some money from these guys.
That's a problem. In fact, I've already encountered that problem.
Right.
Yes. Only to discover
and they're coming to use you.
Oh, yeah. So they come and say, but yeah, you've been splashing money around. Where'd you get the money? No, some funders, what? No, forget it.
Right.
So not only that, you have to be aligned in terms of values and principles.
Right.
Okay? It is very important to make sure that the people of Zambia put you there, not some business interests who put you there, because you will work for them.
Right.
And there is no such a thing as a free lunch. And this is what has tainted our political process. And Zambians have to wake up to this reality that you cannot, and here's the point, Mr. Mwenda. You didn't fund that political party. Zambia should be asking to say, wait a minute, these guys were splashing money.
Right.
Where did they get it from?
Yeah.
Okay? Clearly, if they got money from other sources, they won't work for you. Okay? They work for the people that funded them.
Right.
It's just as simple as that. Waste you when they even feed you during campaigns. They even buy you beers, alcohol, what and so forth. You already know. But Mr. Mwenda, look at it this way.
Right.
This is what defies logic. When you offer yourself for public service, you're a public servant.
Right.
I am your servant. Right?
Right.
I'm working for you. Right? So, why should I pay you to turn me into your servant? Does that even make sense? It's you to pay me,
Right.
so that I can be your servant, not the other way around.
Right.
Yeah. So this is how the logic has been twisted upside down, and that's one of the dysfunctions in our system of government.
Right.
And that is why there is no appetite to strengthen institutions of government.
Right.
Because when institutions of government are strong, you won't be able to pay back to your funders.
Interesting. And the good part with the movement is that you have shown us how the money is going to be spent and where to check if the money has started being checked. And we can see that you have started spending the money. Does that mean also that you haven't started traveling? Have you been to parts of Zambia?
Yes, I've been, and we were doing that purely before we transitioned into a political party.
Right, as a movement.
As a movement. We were doing that. I've been to a couple of places in the country.
Right.
And that is when you understand the enormity of the challenges that the country faces. Some people, very interesting conversations have come up. Some people have said, but we went to Western Province. This is very interesting.
Right.
So we go to the Kuta. They said, what are you promising us? Because all your friends come here and promise.
Promise, yes.
We said, we have no promise for you. We have no promises for you.
Okay.
What do you mean? So we want to know what the challenges are that you face
Then we promise how to fix them.
in Western Province. And you must also tell us what you think are the solutions to the problems you face. Then we will work together to fix those problems.
Is it not your responsibility to find the solutions? You're asking the electorate.
No. That's why we've gotten things wrong in this country.
Okay.
Mr. Mwende, logically, I've never lived in Western Province. How can I know the challenges of people of Western Province? I don't know. Okay? It is for the people of Western Province to share their experience with us. All right? So we are developing what we are calling People's Manifesto.
Okay.
It is us listening to what the people are saying. We're trying to do things differently. In the past, somebody seated in Lusaka in an air-conditioned room is now designing a plan for Western Province where he has never been.
Right.
And also what we realized is that in the course of the conversation, we were told something very interesting. To say, one of your colleagues came here and told us that if voted, is going to restore the Barroso Agreement within 3 months. I said, you know, I do acknowledge the Barroso Agreement is a problem. I don't have a blueprint for it. But what I do believe is that it has to be part of the conversation. Right. And we find a solution together. I don't have a prescription. Right. Because all previous governments, what they have done in the past, they go there and tell them, we will do this, we'll do this, we'll do this. They get into office, they discover that those things are not feasible. Right. Now, very interesting. When we finished in Western Province, I drew one of the Indunas aside. I said, tell me one thing. What is the one thing that can be done to transform Western Province? You know what he told me? He says cattle.
Cattle?
Cattle.
Okay.
What do you mean? He says, we don't have veterinary services. We don't have extension officers. We would like to introduce a different kind of breeds of animals. Right. If we can just grow that industry, it will transform Western Province. Okay. Now, why am I saying this? The people in these areas, they're not dull. They know there are problems. Right. And they know there are solutions. Right. The idea is to get them involved so that they own the process. They can attend to those problems. Now, there has to be a buy-in from the people. Right. But when you go with your very intelligent solution from Lusaka to Western Province, that's how most of these things fail. Right. Okay? So it's been very, very educational. In Mongo we saw that. And what was also surprising in Senanga, we go there to say, what's the biggest challenge here? Right. I said, water. I couldn't understand. But there's a Zambezi River is flowing. Right. Right. What it shows you is that you cannot have a generic approach to challenges facing this country. Right. I've been to a northwestern province. Their challenges are different. So every province has its own challenges. So what is required is to get the people in these areas. The problems of Lusaka, for example, are not the problems of Western Province. Okay? On top of the list on Lusaka, for example, one might say we need the urban redesign. Right. Okay? Because Lusaka is chaotic, especially during the rain season. Right. Somebody can say that might be a priority. Right. Even when you say, oh, what is the solution for the youth? I've seen some programs that have been launched about the youth. Of course. The question is, how many youth were consulted to say that is indeed the solution? And what makes you think that what you have done is indeed the solution? You need to talk to the people. And not only that, even the youth is not uniform. Right. The challenges of youth in the rural area is not the same as that of in urban areas. Yes. Okay? So that is the kind of approach we're having to be able to look at things, to try and do things differently. You cannot do things the same way and hoping that the outcome will be different.
State Council, I want to tell you something that many people who are close to you might not say. You strike me and a lot of other people as someone who is quite elite and very educated, not a grassroots person. Somebody who, even your English, State Council, maybe they don't tell you this. Your English is very unique. You speak with a very good accent, which almost makes me believe you actually went to school in Europe or in America or somewhere. Are you one of us?
Mr. Mwenda, those are the usual tags that people give, right? In fact, it is my background that has inspired me to do this.
Is that so?
Yes. Mr. Mwenda, I grew up in Chimoemwe first.
On the Copper Belt?
Yes. Chimoemwe.
Okay.
You know, appearances can be deceiving. You know, mwalidiapo bwali nembalala.
Sure.
Mwalidiapo bwali nembalala.
And
mwalidiapo bwali na chisense ya kukwangula fi. Mwajua chisense ya kukwangula. My background is very humble.
Is that so?
Yes, Mr. Mwenda. Very humble. There's a friend of mine, we joke, he's a pastor now.
Right.
We used to say, in those council houses, some were very tiny. So you'd actually sleep in the sitting room. Having your own bedroom was a luxury. And we had a saying to say, you go on a blanket, it's like a book. Where you roll it, one part of the blanket is the mattress.
You sleep on one side, you cover the other side.
Yes.
Was that you?
Yes, that's me.
Really?
Yes, I've gone through that.
It's very difficult to tell.
I started by Koloboi. You know what Koloboi is?
Yes. Our traditional rural kind setup. Kind with paraffin.
Yes. You wake up in the morning, you put your fingers in your nose, soot comes out.
But why? What was that circumstance about? Your parents did not have much means.
No, I didn't. I didn't come from much. My father was a simple civil servant.
Okay.
Yeah.
What did he do? What was he?
Was a clinical officer.
Already?
Yeah.
Okay.
Very, very basic. And I remind my kids to say, if I was born during their time, I might have ended up being a laborer. Mr. Mwenda.
Right.
You know, in my form 3, you know, I worked as a houseboy.
You lie.
I'm telling you.
Okay.
Yeah.
Where was this?
In Luansha.
In Luansha.
In Luansha, yes.
Do you remember who you were working for?
Yes. There was a very good French teacher. One of my teachers, I think, those days we used to have foreign teachers. I had no means. And I approached him, can I do some shows at your place? And I said, yes. And over the weekends, I would go to his place, Saturday, Sunday, do laundry. I'd be on my knees, shining the floor. At the end of the day, I get paid. I'll do laundry. After doing the laundry, it's dry, iron, okay? And put the clothes properly and everything else, just to make ends meet. So I laugh when people say I'm an elite. No. But I am mindful of one thing. What is it that has gotten me from there to here?
Right.
Education.
And that's what I was going to ask.
Education. Why? It's not just education. Government was functioning, Mr. Mwenda. Government was working. I had free education from primary school to secondary school. I finished university, I didn't pay. I got out of university with 2 degrees, thanks to government. So, that reality is not missed on me.
Right.
Okay? So, school is what gave me the opportunity. In the process, I've had the opportunity to travel the world to see how things are done differently. Now, Mr. Mwenda, when you have that kind of privilege, you have to be abnormal not to want other people to transform their lives as well.
Right.
Okay? That is what I have been, this is what it is all about. Right. Okay? To say, can I give back to the people? Can I make sure, because us being sponsored by government was commonplace. It was nothing magical about it. But systems were working. Right. Those systems are broken today. So when they say elite and everything else, I mean, you don't parade these things to say my background is this. Yes, in context you can disclose.
Because people, Zambians want to know that you are one of them, and they want to know that you associate with their struggles. And when you tell stories like this, you might not understand the impact of such stories. When you tell people to say, I actually grew up in a household where we didn't have the means.
No, we didn't have the means.
Bedding, even just the electricity.
Yeah.
And you had to work as a household.
You know,
people can relate very
you know Joe Saka?
Yes, yes. I
drank water from Joe Saka. Yes, early in the morning you have to fill up that thing and then you go and hang it on a mango tree.
Right.
Yeah. In October when it is so hot. I lived through that.
So but is that to say that you were so brilliant in school that your academic performance passed
Yes, Mr. Mwenda, we had a system, right, where the only determinant was what was in your head.
Right.
Your father's last name was inconsequential. Your father's bank account was inconsequential. The system was so transparent. I remember when we were in Form 5, grade 12 then, the day when they published the results, you know what the system was? Right. There was another list of candidates that have been selected to go to university. On the same day. Right. You didn't need to talk to anyone. From your results from the examination council, they are taken over to UNZA. UNZA makes an assessment, and then from there, you are selected based on your choices you have made. Yes, it's education. It's education. For me, I didn't come from much, but you know, they had friends who came out from houses where there were electricity, there were fridges, there were these amenities and everything else. But you know what the greatest equalizer was?
Education.
Education.
Right.
Yes.
So how do you, I'm glad to hear that, because we don't get to hear a lot about you in that kind of background. And this is the reason why sometimes people can be malicious. And I've heard stories, people say, actually, State Council Sangwa is not even Zambian. He's actually Congolese. And I said, oh, wow. And they say, have you ever even heard him speaking any local language? And which gives rise to the next question. How are you going to campaign in the rural areas if you can't speak any of our language?
Mr. Mwenda, you know, these things are, I don't respond to every allegation made. I can add to that. Others have even said, no, he's not even married. I don't even answer to that. You see, you have to understand one thing. Again, the Constitution is my guiding principle. What's the official language of Zambia?
Well, the official language is English.
English,
Right.
Yes. So, Mr.
But not
Mwenda,
everybody
for
speaks
me,
it.
yes, for me, when we interact, I can't start by assuming that you understand a certain language. I'll start with you in the official language.
Right.
Okay? Because I'm contacting you in an official capacity.
Right.
Right? But when we become friends, then maybe we can find a common language that we can speak. Because then we are friends. Okay? So I've been in parts of this country. I've never failed to communicate, by the way.
Okay.
I've never.
Which languages do you speak? Which local languages do you speak? I've heard you give a snippet of Bemba here.
Yes, I speak Bemba. I've been in Lusaka since 1985.
Right.
Yeah, I can speak a few broken sentences here and there.
So your Bemba is stronger than Chinyanja.
That's right.
Right.
Yes. So I don't have a problem in terms of communicating. But in any case, look at it this way. You have to understand one thing. I know of people that are gifted in languages, and I'm not one of them.
Right.
I remember I had an associate who could speak 10 Zambian languages fluently. Okay?
Right.
I don't have that gift.
Right.
Okay? And so, but again, if I have a problem to speak in a certain area, I'll get a translator. What is wrong with that? Okay? But in any case, how many languages can you speak? If I go to, you're telling me that if I go to Western Province, I must learn how to speak Lozi. Is that what you're saying?
Well, what we are saying is at least there must be a local
Yes,
language.
but the point is that how will it
becomes
feel?
the anchor.
I go and speak Bemba in the Western Province.
Well, then in Western Province, you can speak English and get a translator.
But this is what I'm saying.
Right.
I've never struggled to communicate my ideas.
Right.
I've never. Okay? But also, what is the essence of communicating? Okay? Is to communicate your ideas and thoughts. But the most fundamental thing is that I must also be comfortable. I speak in a language that I'm comfortable with. And I'm sure not too long ago, somebody tried to speak in Bemba. It turned out to be an insult.
You don't want that.
No, I don't want that. So at the end of the day, I know my limitations. Right? I know my limitations, and I'll be able to communicate. So far, since I've been on this path since October, and I've never failed to communicate. Maybe I'm yet to fail to communicate, but I'm able to communicate quite effectively.
As we come to the end of the program, what is the message to the people who are making donations and people who are watching how your movement is going? And I'm not sure. They really love you as a lawyer. They're not very sure about you as a politician. And they're apprehensive. What is your message?
Well, it's very simple. It's a democracy, right? And it's a democracy. At the end of the day, people have their own choices to make. I have my message, which I've shared, which we are saying, guys, we need to do things differently. We can't be doing the same thing over and over, hoping that things will change. They won't. And that is why we are saying this is a movement of national renewal, which means that we need to renew the institutions of government. We can't go on doing things the same way that we've been doing for all these 60 years because we've failed to move the country forward. For people that want to donate, feel free. There's a platform. Just there are rules there that we have set. Put the money forward. 20,000 is the maximum that we can receive. If you want, what we just don't want is for you to try and masquerade to say you are the biggest funder. No. But at the end of the day, the success or failure of this campaign rests in the hands of the Zambian people. If they fund it, we go ahead. They don't fund it, we fold the campaign. It's as simple as that.
What happens to what's your next step if they don't fund it and you go back to law practice?
Well, I'm not really sure yet.
Right.
I'm not really sure. But one thing that I wouldn't do is to start begging for money, for people to come and give me money or to start collecting money in sacks or anything like that. No. It is, what did you mean, Mr. Mwende, if Zambians don't fund it? It will simply mean that Zambians like the status quo. Yeah. You respect that in a democracy.
Right.
It's as simple as that. So it's not, I've made my contribution and I have a message, and it is up to the people to accept it or not to accept it, because you can't force your views on the people. That's how democracy works. Ultimately, you have to respect what the voters are saying. And that is why, if you look at it, Mr. Mwenda, I rarely talk about other political parties. I rarely talk about the current government in power. Right. The entity that I address is the people of Zambia. Because at the end of the day, those are the people that have a final say. But what I can say to them is that I don't have money to buy you food or booze. That I don't have. Because that money you want me to spend on you for booze has come from another Zambian. So whatever money that will be donated, it has to be used exclusively for the good of the campaign. Let me also add, Mr. Mwenda. Yes. It's not been an easy journey. I've lost friends in the process.
Is that so?
Yes.
Is it friends who wanted you to work with them and you refused?
No. They are friends who simply saw that they had taken a political route, who came up and said, sorry, we can't deal with you. They have distanced themselves. But I'm a patriot. Okay? You expect people like that to make those decisions, and you respect them. But as I have lost friends, I've also gained new friends.
Right.
It's not about me, it's about the country. At the end of the day, Mr. Mwenda, I would like to, even if I'm lying on my deathbed, I'll be saying, I did the best for my country. Whether I succeed or I don't succeed. I've moved away from an armchair critic who spends all his time bashing articles and sharing on WhatsApp and the X and the Facebook. I've now gone in the actual political arena.
Right.
Okay.
But these friends you are gaining now, some of them are recycled politicians?
No. These are completely...
Because then we are moving around in circles.
No, yes, they're not recycled. These are completely new actors, completely new. Right. And most of them are younger generation. Okay, I think there has to be that management whereby you combine the older generation and the younger generation. Yeah, so that is the way we are moving. And it's not about me, it's about me wanting to serve the Zambian people. Although people have already started giving me titles and everything else, all what I've said is, I'm ready to serve. But I'm not going to do it alone. I need the other Zambians to join hands with me. Right. And I'm not going to fund that exercise alone. I need other Zambians to join hands with me so that we can raise the money required for our campaign so that we can serve our people.
This has been State Counsel John Sangwa. I would like to say leader and founder of the Movement for National Renewal. Thank you for joining us on Mind Your Business. My name is Joseph Mwenda. I've been your host. Until next time, bye-bye.